Welcome back, everyone, to the Has-Beens. This is Matt Burton here.
And this is Braden Lara.
So, Braden, do we want to address when we're down in Waco?
We might as well. This is a sports podcast. We try to cover all the big topics. And
Yes.
I was at that game, and I have so many thoughts on it. I didn't think we were gonna win, but I kind of, how do I say this? Like, the way we lost, it had me kind of feeling optimistic in a weird way because I feel like we beat ourselves. Like at the end of the day, of course, Baylor won and they took advantage of opportunities, but like we could have easily won.
Yeah.
And the main thing is that you've been saying it, and I agree. Baylor, they're not bad. They're not going to be bad this year because they still have a lot of that talent from last year. Katie Cannon's a stud wide receiver. He's like Corey Coleman 2.0. Seth Russell's like, he's amazing. They got Shock Linwood. The O-line's good. Like, the only thing that might be down a little bit is some of their, their defense front seven. But last year they ran for us. They ran over like 350 yards on us, something like that. And we held them to like 3.7 yards per carry. So we kind of made them one-dimensional, which is big because Baylor, even though they're spread, they try to run the ball first. And so from a defensive standpoint, us stopping the run was a big thing. That was one of the things I was worried about. Sticking with the defensive side of the ball, our secondary needs work big time. I saw a stat that we, in the first 4 weeks or 4 or 5 weeks of the college football season, only Rice, and all of college football, only Rice has given up more pass plays of 20-plus yards or 30-plus yards than we have.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's obviously a problem, and that's like Baylor's thing. They run it, and then they try to get you with that, the long passes, but Pitt did it. All these other teams did it, and so you knew Baylor was going to try to do it. So it's like defense, I thought I'm going to give it like a B- just because I feel like the front seven played really well. Some of the linebackers didn't do so great in coverage with that secondary. We have to get better. Like, I miss Kevin Peterson. I miss Justin Gilbert. I think Lampkin and Richards are good athletes. I know they can do it, but I don't know if it's like the defensive schemes or whatever, but they just got to do better in those one-on-one coverages. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, that's what I feel really good about because we ran the ball. Like, like, I have not seen that since, like, 2013 at Iowa State, where we could just, like, and we, like, the thing is, for the past couple years, because our O-line's been pretty weak, and we would run inside the tackles and everyone would get upset. So, like, why don't we run it outside? And now it's kind of weird because every time we run it outside, it's not near as good as when we run it like between the tackles again. Yeah. And like to be able to run between the tackles and go right at the the defense like that, you have to have a good line. And our line has progressed a lot from last year. And I think taking out QB sacks, we have like 4.7 yards per carry, and so that was great. We outrushed Baylor. I think we had like 220 something yards rushing. Obviously Justice Hill, he's a beast, but his 2 fumbles.
Yeah.
I mean, in the fourth quarter, we had the ball 3 times in the red zone, no points. You can't do that in conference play and expect to win. And we didn't win because of that. So that's why I feel good. I feel, those mistakes, that's not going to happen every game. If we can just keep playing to that level but minimize the mistakes, then we'll be all right. Then we can beat teams. Because I was at Baylor, it was a Saturday night. They're a good team. So I'm not throwing up the panic flag on that. I'm not worried about it. Would have liked to have won, but I think now the players know what they can do. They know they can hang with those teams where last year we were getting killed by Baylor. And so it'll be interesting to see how they respond against Texas. But obviously, yeah, tough loss. But I just think once we get a couple of those pieces fixed, like the secondary, and shore up the turnover situation, the line continues to play well, like, it's kind of up to this team to see where they go from here.
Yeah. That game kind of reminded me, like, of watching OU this season. It was almost like I was watching an OU game, like giving up big pass plays. And I even tweeted something about it. I said it looked like the OU secondary switched with the OSU secondary, just giving up big play after big play, and then getting down to the red zone and then just not converting anything. It was just killed them.
And I know of 2 of those turnovers, they got 10 points from that. And it just, like, at the time when it happens in the game, obviously you don't want to have those turnovers, but then it hurts even worse when you go back and look at that, like, that this missed field goal or this fumble at the 1 yard line, led to points for them. Like really, and I don't know if you saw the game, but one of their big plays was a tipped pass caught. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that play.
They had, if I remember correctly, they had two guys spread out wide to left sides of Seth Russell, and they both those receivers, the inside and the outside, ran like little hook routes. But one was like 3 yards, one was 5 yards, and Seth Russell threw to the inside guy. Well, it was a little high, and it tipped off his fingertips, and so it was just floating in the air. And so the cornerback that was on the outside receiver came in trying to like tackle that guy. I think he was going to catch it.
Yeah.
So that means it left the outside receiver wide open to catch that tipped ball. So no one's even in his path. So that was a touchdown, and it's just like Baylor didn't do offensively what they've been doing the past 3 years. Like, they didn't really get to control the game. That first drive they ran it down pretty well. Then they had a couple like weird plays, but we kept them in check, and so I kind of hate saying it because we had so much expectations coming into this year. Like, not like national championship, but we're supposed to have a good team. So I'm not trying to make the loss seem like it's okay, like we're like a rebuilding kind of team. But like just looking at the situation realistically, last year we got lucky in a lot of games, so it was just good to see us be able to compete against a team that whooped us last year. And yeah, but those turnovers and going to the red zone, that's killer. And if you can't do that, then you're not going to win.
Right.
You might not beat Iowa State, like you just can't win those games like that.
Right. It was very disappointing, but like I said, it was weird. Like, I found myself just like getting mad at the OSU game, like getting mad like I would at an OU game.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I always want OSU to do well, but this was the first time I was like legitimately getting mad that they weren't doing well. It was almost like I was a fan.
Yeah.
I may have turned a new leaf. Maybe it's because my team's so bad, and I was just like holding out hope for someone.
How's Tulsa doing? Do we have to go join Tulsa's team now?
At least, I mean, OU played Ohio State better than Tulsa did. I mean, I guess if that's a thing. But moving on to next week.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, OU at TCU. Oh man. Well, considering all they do is pass, and the thing that OU's defense is just not doing very well at right now is stopping the pass. Yeah, I expect a lot of points to be scored from their side. Still up in the air about our side. It's not a typical Gary Patterson defense at TCU this year, so I think there is a lot of points and a lot of big plays to be made for OU, but we haven't really seen them execute this year. So I don't know, man. It's kind of anyone's ball game, I think.
Yeah, that game. TCU, their defense, like, you always kind of can fall back on TCU having a pretty good defense, like because it's Gary Patterson, but giving up 41 points to South Dakota State or something like that, and then Arkansas coming in there and kind of giving it to them. I think OU will be able to put on, put some points on the board. But, TCU, you're right. They can throw it. And then OU's had that extra week to prepare. Well, I guess TCU has too, right? They both had bye weeks coming into this. I know OU did.
I don't know if TCU did.
Pretty sure TCU did too. So, that's a big game too, because those are who most people projected to be the top two teams in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So, and then especially, TCU there, I'm trying to think. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously they're both in the running for the conference title. I think TCU, their playoff hopes might be gone because they lost to Arkansas at home, and Arkansas just got beat by A&M and probably going to lose a few more games. So, but nonetheless, it's a big game, and I'm actually excited for it. I like, those Bob Stoops, Gary Patterson matchups are always pretty good.
Yeah. Score prediction for OU-TCU.
Let's see. That's really tough because those Bob Stoops teams, sometimes they come out of those losses, and I've said this I feel like every podcast, they come out playing really angry, but obviously they're not going against a team that's as talented as Ohio State. Bob Stoops does know how to. I feel like they both know how to kind of game plan for each other. It'll just kind of come down to who makes the bigger plays and whose defense steps up. And I just trust OU's defense more than I do TCU, so I'll say OU 31, TCU 20.
TCU 20. Gotcha. I do think that they will score more than that. I think it's going to be a close one. I'll go 38-35 OU. And that's a very hesitant 38-35 for OU. But I do think that, and I have no evidence to back this up, but I do think that we'll end up getting one stop at least. Just when it counts. Yes. Maybe we'll see. But OSU this weekend. Big game coming up. Who you got and why?
I'm pretty superstitious. I'm not gonna lie. We haven't beaten Texas at home since '97, and in the series, the home team hasn't won since 2008. But I know Texas, and I feel like it's the same story again as it's been since 2010. All the talent in the world, but they're still not really. They're not really back as far as I'm concerned. I mean, even that win against Notre Dame was putting up points, putting up big plays on them. And then against Cal beat them, put up 51.
Yeah, we've also found out that Notre Dame's not.
Yeah, that's true. So, and then Cal, I feel like isn't. They're good. They're a good team, but they're not great by any means. And they were able to move the ball on Texas. So I feel like OSU will be okay from the offensive side of the ball, especially if we can keep running it. Because last year we beat them in Austin, and we couldn't run it at all. And so I expect Mason to step up. Usually in the big games like this, he'll make some good plays. So I think we actually get a win over him, I hope. And I'm going to say, and these games are always so close, it seems like, in Stillwater, or in general, really, the past few years. But I think it might be kind of like a last-second field goal kind of thing like last year. And I'm going to say OSU 44, Texas 41.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, so we got another problem here. You went ahead of me on our predictions. You're 5-2. I'm 4-3 with the OSU-Baylor game. So we both picked OU. I have to get one back. I'm going Texas.
Just when we thought Matt was starting to turn.
I'm going Texas. I'm only doing this because I need to get one back on you.
Ultimate heel
and
turn.
Because Texas is my ringer this year for the Big 12. I do hope that Oklahoma State wins because I hate Texas more than any other team on the planet. But if the OSU secondary plays like they did against Baylor, I think Rochelle will kind of just have a field day. I don't want that to happen. Let me just reiterate that point here because I do hate Texas. I'm going to go Texas 35, OSU 27. OSU 27 to hopefully get one back on Braden Laura on our predictions.
The thing I'm kind of hoping is that they overlook us because next week is the biggest game of the year for Texas. So that's kind of what I'm going on, and I think kind of like I said with the OU-TCU game, even though this will be more high scoring, I'll just kind of come to who can get that stop at the end. And I just really, really, really hope we don't lose because of swoops. I still have PTSD from losing OU all those years because of Blake Belt. I don't want it to replicate again because of swoops. So I'm just gonna have faith that we can get a couple more big plays than they can. But win or lose, I can see us winning. I can see us losing, but I hope we win.
Yep. Here you go. Ooh, also, Oklahoma City Thunder has their blue and white scrimmage today at John Marshall High School. Not going to go to it, but...
Not either.
Not going to watch it because I'm sure it's probably not televised.
Russell's probably playing in 3 minutes.
It's so... oh, man. I'm ready for basketball, especially because of how this football season's going. And I just lost my first game of fantasy football. So
I even won one, so I'm
ready.
Definitely ready for basketball.
So I'm ready for basketball. I'm ready for this new look Thunder. I'm going to try to be a little optimistic about it.
I'm very optimistic about them. I think
4th seed.
I think no worse than 5.
Yeah. I think if they get 4th seed in the West, I think that's a huge win. I think that's a great year. 'Cause you get one round at home, with home court advantage,
And
and then go from there.
I drop top of my whip, that car driving make you feel some type of way. I know you do. That custom brightly make you feel some type of way.
This is the segment known in Waco, Texas, as Some Type of Way. Braden, Laura, what has got you feeling some type of way?
definitely have to say the passing of Jose Fernandez. It is truly tragic because he was one of my favorite, like, not even pitchers, just like players out there. Like, he was so charismatic and he had like the skill set to back it up, and you just couldn't help but think if he was going to stay healthy for his career, he was going to be like one. I honestly think like one of the greatest. Like, he was just on that path, and he was already accomplishing so much, and he was only 24.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's really sad because, you know, obviously the way it happened, it was so soon. He was so young, and it's neat because you saw how the baseball community came together, and you hearing all these stories about how people in South Florida, you know, especially people of Cuban Americans, how they were, you know, they kind of looked up to him, and he was like a symbol for them. And he just had a really good story from his upbringing to, you know, how he got to where he was today, and so it's terrible it happened. It was neat to see that D. Gordon, his tribute to him whenever he batted right-handed, tried to replicate his batting stance, and I think had his helmet on. And then very next pitch, he switches over to his regular left-hand batting, and then a pitch later, he hits a home run, first one of the year. And, that's those kind of things. You just can't make that stuff up. It's like a really good.
It writes itself.
It writes itself, yeah. And it's like I said, it's terrible it had to happen. I'm definitely gonna miss seeing him pitch, but I feel like that's kind of like the last thing on people's minds is missing seeing him pitch. It's just kind of missing him in general, just the kind of person he was and what he brought to not only the Marlins, from what I've read and seen about people talking about him, but just what he in baseball. You've seen all these people who just had so much respect for him, and they're having the tributes, and so that's a bummer because like I said, I think he was gonna be one of the greatest. So just shows you life is fragile, man.
That is a bummer. My first memory of Jose Fernandez is when he hits a home run against my Atlanta Braves, and then just pimps it, and Brian McCann walks him down from third base, just jawing at him, getting mad, and I don't have a problem celebrating home runs. I can see where it's kind of like an unwritten rule, you don't do that.
Yeah.
But just as a casual fan, I don't have a problem with it. I'm sure as a player it would kind of tick me off. And ever since then, you just kind of watch him play.
Yeah.
And he just kind of has all that passion.
Mm-hmm.
He plays with all that passion. He always had a smile on his face.
Always, always.
And that's kind of how baseball fans, I know, especially me, just being a casual fan, I like to see that. I like to see it's it just reminds you whenever you played Little League. Everyone played Little League. Everyone remembers how fun it was. But you just look like a little kid playing.
Yeah.
While having fun, and that's kind of a cool way to. And I think that's how everyone remembers him too.
Yeah, always. Yeah, that's the part about the passion. Always having a smile on his face is true, and even in their kind of, and they've been rebuilding the past few years, but even in the kind of the down times, even when he wasn't playing the best, even the Marlins weren't playing the best, just a happy-go-lucky guy. He was just happy to be playing Major League Baseball, living out his dream.
What's got me feeling some type of way? Man, I'm also going to go with a sad note. Arnold Palmer dying.
On the same day, too, man.
On the same day. Arnold Palmer, the king, he has his own drink named after him. A non-alcoholic drink, too. Man, he was the greatest. My favorite quote of his was, the best, I know how to improve your golf game by 5 strokes. It's called the eraser.
Oh yeah,
I
saw that.
That's golden. That's golden, and it's so true too. The best club in the bag is your pencil. And I don't know. Just being a golf fan, that's sad. That's one of the kings of the sport dying.
And even people who aren't big golf fans. You know,
Yeah.
like myself growing up, I never watched golf. You know, nothing against it. I just never played it and never really watched it. But I knew who that was.
Yeah.
You know, even definitely knew who that was. And
Exactly. I mean, he's one of those guys that you know in any generation.
Mhm.
He's like the Babe Ruth.
Exactly.
He's like one of the first ones to do it and do it at a high level like that, and just win all the time. Is, I mean, sad, man. All these guys who got it started are.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but I think it was yesterday. ESPN was airing that commercial that he's in, the This Is Sports Center commercial where he's pouring his lemonade sweet tea drink. Thought that was pretty cool.
That's one of my favorite commercials too, because the guy behind him just goes, "That's so cool."
Him and Stuart Scott are in that commercial.
Yeah.
Man, it's just
Crazy,
Ron
man. It's
Palmer,
been
he's
a
legend.
It's been a rough sports week, man. But anyways, hopefully it gets better from here. Hopefully OU and OSU come away with a win. Yeah, hopefully basketball gets started soon.
Yeah,
That's what
healthy training camp for the Thunder. Let's get this rolling.
exactly. But that about does it for us. I wish we could go longer, but we can't because we're has-beens.